They do not operate on money. They do not have the money to chip anybody. They don't have the money to develop any laser guns that are going to shoot anybody. And they certainly don't have the money to tell you that you can't grow your own garden. But they can instill this fear into you that makes you think that they will do that or that they've already done it. But I'm telling you, they don't have all the money that the Columbus Police Department spent on anything technical, which was usually trackers, was only so that Internal Affairs could spy on the police officers. It was never for the public. Never. So don't fall for that.
Now, let me ask you about talking about the fear and the panic. You live right now in Miami, or is that right?
Well, I'm about an hour north.
Okay. If sitting here in Arizona reading the internet, looking through the internet, you would think that death and destruction is rolling your way. You should be if you're prudent there, you should be packing up and moving away from the Gulf. You should be giving up your fishing. You should not eat any of the food. Only eat seafood from Taiwan or China right now. and you better get out. You better take the bank's offer on that property right now. Let them foreclose on that property and get the hell out. What's it really like down in South Florida right
now? Florida is the same today as it's been for the last 1,000 years. The water is clean, the air is clean, the beaches are beautiful, the weather is hot because we're still in the summer season. There is nothing wrong down here. There was some oil that came up on Louisiana, allegedly, I can't even prove that, and touched part of the panhandle. But there is nothing wrong with Florida. Now, you can say, well, Susie, you're living in Florida and you know exactly what it's like, but I'm not going to believe you because I live in Utah and I talked to someone that said they can't fish down there. So I say, have at it. Believe what you want, buddy, but there's nothing going on here. There is no damage here.
Well, what about any black or white UN vehicles patrolling the streets? What about how about you can't go down and take pictures on the beach if you get within 65 feet of the cleanup crews? You can be arrested. What about that?
False.
False. Ain't happening.
It's not happening. It's happening in someone's mind, but it's not happening in reality.
Yeah, it's kind of like the one guy the cameras focused on at the World Trade Center that convinced the whole world that the buildings fell down because some planes clipped the top of them, caught on fire.
God.
Yeah. Here's an expert off the street. The fire was so hot that the building just fell down. Yeah. That's what happened. And the government said, wow, that sounds pretty good. Let's use that.
Well, personally, even as a police officer, I like audio tapes and I like videotapes. Because audio tapes and videotapes have saved my butt because I don't do anything wrong. But if I don't have an audio tape or a camera that has recorded something, then the bad guys can say anything they want, and it's never going to be in your favor. So if you're accused of something and you have an audio or videotape that will clear you, you hold on to that till the last minute. And you make sure you have 5 or 6 copies of it in safe places. Because in the very end, after the liars have dug a hole about you, then you come out with this audio clip or this video clip and you go, oh, I happen to have that incident on tape. And they hate that. So...
Yeah, that's why they're upset. That's why they're upset with the internet because we're actually getting truth on. That's why they're proposing bills to let the president control the internet. And by the way, we were just talking about this earlier, and somebody in the chat room just gave it to me. You know, a word to use instead of Jews, we'll call them Morlocks. I like that.
Well,
I like that. I don't know.
you know-
I don't know any. It's the Morlocks that are the problem, folks. It's just the Morlocks. You know.
Well, I have one. Why don't we call them endangered feces?
No, 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 because they would like that. If you notice, one of the things, anytime the Jews raid the house of the Palestinians, they take a crap on the floor. You know, and they did that in World War II. You know, that's why one of the things that made General Patton say we fought on the wrong side. But I kind of like Morlocks. Morlocks, H.G. Wells. That's from H.G. Wells' novel *The Time Machine*. So might as well adopt that for you know. If G. Clay, you'd be better off if you didn't talk about Morlocks. Okay.
Well, here's the way I feel about it. We know who controls the media. We can't do anything about it because they're protected by the First Amendment. So we have to let our media be controlled not by Mormons, not by Masons, not by Japanese, but by Jews. And we have to let that happen.
I'm sorry, that's Morlocks. That's Morlocks. It's the Morlocks that control the entertainment.
Okay, the
according to there's a difference here because Alex Jones says it's the Arabs that control the television.
I know.
which,
I know. But look at it logically. There's no way that they can control the internet because they cannot control the monopoly on the media. I would truthfully be willing to sacrifice some of my freedom on the internet if they would break up the monopoly of the warlocks owning our media, all of our media. If they could break that all up, just like Reagan, who was no help to us, but just like Reagan did with deregulation, if you can break up the media and you can put Gentiles back in charge of those businesses again, then I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit with the internet. But see, that's not going to happen. You can't say we're going to control the internet at the same time you're not going to control the media. It doesn't. You can't do it. A good lawyer will tear that apart.
You know, when I was in Miami, sitting out there in the Gulf Stream, filling my freezer up with dolphin. That's mahi to you folks outside of Florida. The not flipper, but when I saw what happened at Waco. You know, I told my wife I can never sit back and watch something like that happen again. I'm watching it happen now, but what I did is out and started a magazine because I was just as upset with the press for the way they reported on Waco. Mm-hmm. We had to do this. See what they did? They made us kill all those children to save them from that child molester. See what they did? Don't resist by force of arms. See what you made us do? See what happened? Mm-hmm. And so I started the Free American to oppose that. As long as they control the media, and they brag about it. Those Morlocks brag about it in their own papers and their own vehicles. And you know the Morlocks writing for the New York Times will tell you, yes, Morlocks control the media.
Well, you know, if the people that follow you and the people that follow me could just, you know, give us maybe $50 per person to start you up in a magazine again. I think that you should cater to you know, some of the academics like David Duke and David Irving and Kevin McDonald and Tom Sunik. It needs to get out there. I don't care how great the internet is. It needs to get out there in physical form. You can actually give someone a physical magazine.
That is exactly what I did with Free American, and I had over 10,000 readers to the Free American before they tried to kill me. If I brought the Free American back right now. If I could get the backing to do this, and I don't need much. You don't need much because most of it's right there on the website. And because of my stand on the whole marijuana hemp issue, it was our number one cash crop, could be again. And you don't want to talk about it. You shouldn't talk about that, Clay. Why? It's on the ballot in California. I would be passing out as many free American magazines with the information about the Fed, with the information about the hemp, with the information that hey,